Hey there, Leah here. I want to talk today about the ultimate battle. I woke up this morning, as has happened several, maybe innumerable times in the past, with negative thoughts chirping in my mind. And I can identify them as negative thoughts by the way they make me feel. In my case, there's a similar refrain that reminds me that I haven't accomplished certain dreams, certain goals, certain desires that I set for myself when I was a teenager. Just this voice reminding me that I'm not there yet. And by definition of not being there yet, I'm not good enough. My life's not good enough. I don't know if this happens to you. I don't know if it happens to everyone. I just know that it's a refrain that I've heard enough times. I've heard it too many times to ignore it, except for the Rainbow Connection is cool and this voice isn't cool. It's like my thoughts are just grenades being launched at me and wanting to explode my day, explode my sense of well-being, explode my life. But the thing is, I want to feel good. I want to be in a state of joy. I want to be available to the love that is mine, to the peace that is mine. I don't want to buy into this garbage story that I'm not good enough because I haven't accomplished certain things in my life. So I can kind of identify where the story comes from, apart from being in a culture that glorifies money and fame. I remember my mom, who inadvertently instilled this story in me that Michael Jackson was the best of them. I was 10 years old. So this is 34, 35 years ago. But Michael Jackson's level of money and fame was the thing that I should strive for. And I remember telling this to a friend, and he just kind of had this like somewhere between disgusted and amused look on his face. Like, why would anyone ever say that? Why did my mother say that? I don't know. That's what she believed. But by the time I was 10 years old and I got a chance to see Michael Jackson in concert, it was pretty well ingrained in my mind that as a performer, if I wanted to be worth anything, then I was going to reach Michael Jackson's level of influence and have that level of audience and that kind of money. And it sounds crazy to some extent, first of all, because many of us understand that Michael Jackson was not necessarily a happy person. So not necessarily a person that I'd want to emulate anyway. But he's an icon. He's sort of a placeholder, someone who represents this idea that fame and fortune of a certain level is what it takes to be worth something. And anything less than that level means that I'm not successful. I'm not doing what I came here to do. I'm not living up to my goals. And I can tell you that does not feel good. The thing is, it's also not inherently true. I listened to a teacher called Bashar who points out that all truths are true, and it's up to us to decide which one we want to buy into. And so for 30 plus years, I have been buying into the truth, accepting the story that if I'm going to be worth something as a performer, as a musician, then I have to attain this level. And I have a very clear suspicion that should I attain that level, there's still going to be something. There's still going to be a desire to expand beyond that. And there's nothing wrong with expansion. And there's nothing wrong with fame or fortune at any level. The problem comes when I tell myself that if I don't have that, then I'm not good enough. And I've heard that refrain from other people. If I don't have children, I'm not good enough. If I don't have a partner, I'm not good enough. If I don't own my own house, I'm not good enough. You know what yours is, if you have one. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments whether or not there's been a story like that that found its way down into your nervous system and that you have to remind yourself isn't the only truth. And maybe you want to choose a different truth to focus on and live by. And that's the ultimate battle for me. When that voice pops up, when it's the first thing that says good morning to me, hey, what you've got going is not good enough. I'm like, would you please shut up and let me live my life? It reminds me of those cartoons, you know the thing, where there's like a little demon on the one side and there's an angel with a halo on the other side, and the one saying, go do this horrible thing, and the other one saying, no, no, be good. Well, thankfully, this voice doesn't tell me to do anything that would be harmful to anyone else. It's just harmful to me. Thanks. It's harmful to my self-worth. It's harmful to my ability to enjoy my life. Spitting poison into my ear that is telling me that the beautiful things in my life that I have accomplished, that the person who I have chosen to be is not good enough. And when I let this voice rob me of my peace and my love and my joy, then I don't show up for my family the way I want to. I don't show up to my work, to my music the way I want to. I don't show up in the world with all of the gifts that are mine. I'm too busy listening to and battling with this joker. So the question is, what of it? I have Muslim friends and family who refer to that concept of jihad as an inner struggle. It's the struggle to be holy, right? So what even is this holiness? I've talked in another video about alignment, about being in our state of peace, love, and joy at the height of our capacity. And this kind of mudra comes into space because it kind of reminds me of having our chakras aligned, having ourselves, our earthly selves aligned with our spiritual selves. Whatever you believe in, it doesn't matter what religion, or if you even ascribe to a religion, if you're into spiritual teachings or not, at foundational human experience, we all want to feel good. We want to feel good about our place in the world. We want to feel like we're contributing, that we're living up to our highest potential, right? We can get Maslowian on it. We want to be here where we are so secure and confident in our needs being met, in our emotional needs being met, that ultimately we get to focus on expressing our highest self. That's when this angel voice over here is like doing a dance, because that's what I'm buying into. There's scripture in the Bible that talks about the father of lies. That's sort of a name that's given to this Satan principle, this antagonistic principle. And while I don't ascribe to many of the biblical teachings that were given to me as a kid, I can definitely get on board with the idea of this voice, the voice in my own head, being the source of lies. And its whole job is to make me suffer, is to make me experience hell on earth by telling me a story that steals away my confidence, my joy, my sense of accomplishment, my sense of purpose. It bombards me with grenades and it sucks the joy out of living. So if that's the jihad, this voice attacking me and this voice encouraging me to be who I came to be, how do I choose to listen to this voice? Elizabeth Gilbert in a TED Talk said, fear is always going to be with us. This fear that my life will be a waste. This fear that I'm not enough, that what I'm doing, the life I'm living is not enough. Whatever the nature of that antagonistic voice, what Elizabeth Gilbert says to her fear is, all right, I acknowledge that you're in the van of my life, but you cannot drive it. You cannot get behind the steering wheel. Get in the passenger seat, chirp, 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 all you want. You will not be driving this van. Get in the back seat, all the better. Are we there yet? You're not there yet. You're not there yet. All right, I hear you. I got things to do. Personally, I'd like to put it in the trunk. But the fact is, that's one approach. Acknowledging that the fear, that voice, whatever it might be chirping in your ear, is present, but not letting it drive your decisions. I've told you before that I have a B positive blood type, literally, and my old practice was to ignore it to some extent, to say, okay, I hear this voice and I refuse to acknowledge it. Get thee behind me, Satan. I don't want to hear it. Nah, get out of my face. To ignore it and focus on what I want. Ultimately, what I want is to feel good, to be happy, to be empowered, to live the life that I'm here to live. What I have learned in the last couple of years is that ignoring the antagonistic voices inside myself works to an extent, but what is more effective for me is turning toward them, turning within, being aware of the stories, the beliefs that I bought into that are hurting me, and thereby diminishing the good that I can do in my life, in my home, in my family, in the community, in the world. Listen to that pain point. Acknowledge it like I would acknowledge my kid when she comes to me and says, "Oh, my toe hurts." I don't tell her, ignore it. I listen to the voice just long enough to understand what the hurt is, what the nature of the hurt is, to acknowledge that it is a story. It's one of my stories. It's one of the stories in the library of my thought process. As Bashar says, I don't choose to check that book out. I don't choose to spend the entire day doing a deep read of the story of I'm not good enough or my life is not good enough. But I acknowledge that it's on my shelf so that I get a clear picture of what book I do want to check out. I want to check out the book that says there are dreams and goals and ideas for my life that I can yet grow towards, that are still available to me. As long as there's breath in these lungs, there is still the possibility for me to grow into these beautiful experiences that I've dreamed about and glimpsed and seen others experience for decades of my life. So I know that they're available. I know that these experiences are available to me. If I have a dream for the world, I know just by virtue of the fact that I can imagine it, that it's possible. And so I don't have to allow the voice that tells me it isn't here yet, it isn't done yet, it isn't accomplished yet, win the day. I can say to that voice, you're right, it isn't done yet, but I'm still here. I'm still in this body. I'm still in this life. And I'm still going to give my whole heart to it. I'm going to give my whole self to this beautiful dream. And I'm going to do that out of joy and love and peace. And I'm going to wake up to that every day. And that's how I win the battle, time and time again. And sometimes the voice is very quiet. Sometimes I can even drown it out just by exulting in the joyful thing I'm doing, whether it's laughing with someone or making a song or creating something that feels beautiful to me. Those actions, those choices drown out that voice until it's not even present. It's in the trunk. I've put it on the side of the road. But when it does start to chirp up, it's in the passenger seat and it's got ideas about my trajectory, the speed at which my life van is traveling. It's got opinions about everything and nothing is good enough. When I hear its voice, I can say, I hear you, I understand, and I don't choose that story. I choose that where I am is where I am supposed to be. It is the place where I can do the most good by choosing the peace, the love, and the joy that is mine to experience and to express in this moment. That's how I win the battle. Hey, it's a couple hours later on the same day when I recorded The Ultimate Battle. And I'm hearing the song. I'm hearing the song now that wants to help guide me through this. I'm excited about it. I like it a lot. So what I'm gonna do, what I thought would be fun, is if I haven't figured out anything except for the foundational melody. Right? It's pretty simple. And I know I want to put some harmonies over. So if you'd like to kind of watch my process, come on, let's do this. It's funny because I was going to record it onto my cell phone, which I usually do. I use GarageBand in my cell phone. Like if I'm walking, I'll record the layers in there. And I couldn't find my iPhone headphones. We're not even going to talk about design choices by certain companies. But that means I have to do it this way into my computer. And that's cool too, because that means We can kind of do it together. So the first thing I'll do, probably like 4 voices maybe. I don't know, 4, 5 usually does the trick. And the first thing I'll record is the foundational melody. And I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do the video yet. Maybe it'll just be this. Who even knows? Okay, so here we go. Lyrics in my iPhone. It's gonna count me in and I'm gonna start singing into this microphone. This is a very trusty, dusty Blue Yeti. Nothing fancy, but it gets the job done. All right, let's get a count-in going and this is a good key. Ba 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 da da. Sure, why not? 1, 2, 1, 2. Here come that voice trying to turn me around. Here come the noise trying to break me down. But I got my roots down in the sacred ground, and I choose love. 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 Here come that grief trying to break my pride. Here come false beliefs trying to shake my stride. But I own my truth and I release the lies, and I choose love. Okay, so I messed that up. I'm gonna go back and fix it. But that's the foundational part. All right, let's put a harmony over the choruses. You know, the I choose love. I'll just put it simple. I choose love. Somebody, here we go. Uno, dos, tres. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love. I think that we're back. So I'm noticing, looking at my waveforms, which you can't see from there, but it looks, there's like this explosive that happens on the I choose, and I realize it might sound like sneezing. I choose love, but anyway, we soldier on. So rather than adding the typical third, like I choose love, which I might yet do, I'm hearing this deep, 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 deep. So I'm gonna put that over the choruses. See how I go. Deep, 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 love. All right, so I'm gonna add at least one more part, and I'm hearing, oh, I choose love. Oh, I choose love. I'll probably leave the percussion out because it's not to my knees and it doesn't sound that great, I think. Then again, I might keep it, who knows? Oh, I choose love. Oh, I choose love. Oh, I choose love. All right, so I'm gonna add some claps. I'm not sure where yet. Maybe some clap stomps. At least over the last chorus. Maybe like the claps just over the second verse, and then the clap stomps over the last 2 choruses. Chori. Okay, I think we're pretty much there. The last thing I'm gonna do is double the melody on the second verse. Just, you know, so we have this like crescendo thing happening. I always like production where it starts spare and then expands. And then maybe I'll add one more voice on the final chorus. Haven't decided yet what that's gonna be, but we'll know when we get there. Choose love, I choose love. All right, so this is a little out there, but maybe just on the last time around, have this real faint in the mix. We'll see if it stays or don't stays. Oh, trial, there's some error. But I want to tell you that this process, just the freedom, the time, the opportunity to just create something off the cuff, I'm going to share it with you, but for no other reason than to focus on this. This is what I want to be focused on. The creative process and this theme, this topic, choosing love, choosing the wolf I want to feed, choosing what I want to bring into the world, what I want to be in the world, right? This is how I win. This is how I win. I believe I am satisfied. I shall now mix and then share where? Here? You guys want to hear? Okay, we'll do it that way. Here we go. And I'll just sing alone. 2, 1, 2. Here come that voice trying to turn me around. Here come that noise trying to break me down. But I got my roots deep in the sacred ground, and I choose love. 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 Here come that grief trying to shake my pride. Here come false beliefs trying to break my stride. But I got my truth and I release the lies, and I choose love. 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 Sing it with me, y'all. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love. Hey! So I'm gonna make a proper mix and maybe tag the end of this video with that. I don't know. Who even knows? But yeah. So I don't know what that antagonistic voice on your shoulder chirps at you, or if you have that. I would love to know. I would love if you would share in the comments whether or not that's an issue you've experienced in your life. If you've fought this battle, so to speak, how have you won? What has been your experience with the internal jihad of being human? That struggle of whether you're going to live for your fears or for your dreams, for your hopes, for your highest self. Let me know below. Take a moment, if you haven't already, to subscribe to the channel. I'd love to stay connected. Or reach out to me at my website. In any case, I appreciate you listening. I appreciate knowing where you are and what works for you. And I'll see you again soon.